Sandra, for more on the House Republicans' investigation into taxpayer funding for the Wuhan Lab, let's bring in South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She is a member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. Congresswoman, good to see you today. We do know that U.S. taxpayer money through the National Institutes of Health went to the Wuhan laboratory. It was not supposed to go for gain-of-function research, but what more do you want to know about how our money was spent?
Absolutely. It's a huge problem. Republicans were told last year when they floated the lab leak idea that they were conspiracy theorists. We do need to get to the bottom of it. And there are a couple of ways we can do that. We can do that through judiciary or oversight. And you just heard Republican ranking member Jamie Comer mention that. We need to investigate it on the oversight committee or judiciary to find out the source of what did we use with those funds for? What was it paid for? Did we study bat viruses and their impact on human life? That's an answer that we've got to have. We're 15 months out from COVID-19, and we still have very few answers on how it all started.
Dr. Anthony Fauci has insisted that NIH money was not used at the Wuhan lab for gain-of-function research. But when pressed last week at a Senate Appropriations Committee hearing by Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, Fauci sounded like he wasn't able to confirm 100% whether that didn't happen. Listen here.
Have you ever had a grantee lie to you?
I cannot guarantee that a grantee has not lied to us because you never know.
So he has not known a grantee to lie to him, but he's not known if they haven't lied to him. When it comes to China, do we think that they're telling the truth about all this?
I think we should be very distrusting of China at this point. And if the money wasn't spent on gain-of-function research, then what was it spent on? And why can't Dr. Fauci answer the question? Dr. Fauci hasn't been exactly honest throughout COVID-19, as we all know. And I think that should be pointed out. It's an honest question that the American people should have answered.
There's a lot of revisionist history that's going on now among the U.S. media who a year ago were dismissing the suggestion that this thing came out of a lab as more conspiracy theorists that were probably, fostered by people who wore tinfoil hats. What do you say to the media now that was so quick to dismiss this a year ago and is now saying, there's growing credence for this idea?
There's great irony because when former President Trump talked about a potential lab leak from the Wuhan lab last year, he was laughed off by the press. And just a week or two ago, you had a New York Times reporter blaming former President Trump for not having all the answers and not investigating whether or not it was released out of a lab. There's enormous irony here. And really, quite frankly, with as many deaths and as much as this has impacted the American people, we should have answers, and we should have an honest and free press that demands those answers, regardless of what the result is and regardless if we like or dislike the answer to that question. So it's so important that it's investigated, and appreciate reporters like Fox News and Wall Street Journal who are demanding answers and doing that investigation and asking the right questions.
Congresswoman, wanted to talk to you about an issue that's become very personal for you, and this is the right to organize bill that a lot of pro-union people are pushing. Your home was vandalized over the weekend, graffiti sprayed on your home, your front porch, the sidewalk out in front, by people who are trying to put pressure on you to either support this bill or, if not, at least temper your opposition. What do you say about what happened?
Well, there's been political violence that's been rampant throughout our country. It's gaining steam. It's sad. It's a sad day to see this kind of division in America. We all should be safe in our own personal homes, regardless of our political beliefs. And if whoever did this, vandalized my home, thinks that I'm going to be intimidated by this kind of action, they can think again, because I'm not going to stop working for the people that elected me to do a job. And that means that I've got to take tough stances, ask tough questions, and be out front and help lead us out of this pandemic and do the right thing for this country. We have millions of people that are out of work. I'm a staunch right-to-work supporter. South Carolina is a right-to-work state. There were anarchist and Antifa symbols that were graffitied on my home, and it's wrong. And I'm not going to stop until I get all the answers. And whomever did this, I hope local law enforcement, they're working hard, but they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
No matter what side of the political aisle you sit, it's really a shame when things like this happen. Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina, it's always good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.